In last video, we have discussed about Jupiter debilitation. In this video, we are going to talk about what happens when you have Venus debilitated in your birth chart. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Venus debilitated. Venus gets debilitated into the sign of Virgo. Before we talk about these energies of Venus into the sign of Virgo, let's talk about what is Venus. Venus is the planet which is responsible for the relationship. The first thing which comes to my mind when I think of Venus is sensitivity, relationship, love, music, art, beauty, and it often represents wife in the man's chart. It is also the karaka for the marriage, the timing of marriage, the quality of marriage. To qualify any of the yogas related to marriage, Venus is most important planet. Venus gets exalted into the sign of Pisces and it gets debilitated exactly opposite into the sign of Virgo. What is the sign of Virgo? The sign of Virgo is ruled by Mercury, is a earth element sign, and which is a dual sign. The planet Mercury is the planet of the neutrality. It balances and neutrals the things. And the sign of Virgo is also the sign of practicality, is about organizing the information, is about understanding the information, it is about the processing of the information. It also has the significations of Mercury like communication, networking, but it is not as fun-loving as Gemini, because Gemini is an air element sign which are more social, and Virgo is an earth element sign which are more of the reserved and hardworking of the group. Virgo is also the dual sign. When I say dual, it has the duality of both the cardinal sign as well as the fixed signs. These are the signs of transition. This helps the planet or energies to move to the next cardinal sign. It helps this in case of Virgo, it is the movement from the fifth, which is the fixed, after the fourth, and it is transiting it with its duality, holding the fifth and moving on to the seventh. So this is the transitionary dual sign. Now, why Venus gets debilitated here, and what happens when you have Venus in the sign of Virgo? Venus is the planet of love and universal love. Venus likes to love everybody around, like to show the affection, compassion, and love. Whereas the sign of Virgo is about the practicality, and you cannot love if you're practical, because love is a heart connection wherein you have to connect with other person's heart, and you have to think beyond the profit and loss. You have to think beyond the practicality. You just have to connect with the other person, and that's what is lacking in the sign of Virgo. Virgo can be extremely practical, and the word practical is the key for the Virgo, and that's why Venus gets debilitated here. It's like if a person has Venus into the sign of Virgo, these people are minimalistic. The planet of luxury and comfort goes into the house of practicality, so they don't have any craving or longing for the fancier things. They are minimalistic and more of realistic person. So they want a decent car. They are not looking for the BMW or any fancy cars, sports cars. No, they just want a car which will help them to commute to office and come back, and which is nice, which is working, and which is comfortable. So there is an element of Venus, but not the fancier one. They are down to earth. In fact, this can be the best position for anyone to have. But when it goes to the extent of a personal nature, then it can also become a weakness. We'll talk about that in some other videos. But Venus, when comes into the sign of Virgo, it becomes a person who is sensual, yet that sensuality is not carefree or careless. It is minimalist. So the practicality and minimalism is the key word for the Venus in the sign of Virgo. Venus is the planet of pleasures, and Virgo is the sign of grounding, basics, minimalism, practicality, earth element, the security mode. So these people have a sense of what they can afford, what they cannot afford, and they seek pleasures which are achievable in their practical life. I feel this is the strength of Venus in the sign of Virgo. Okay, the sign of Virgo, that space has 3 nakshatras in it: Uttara Falguni nakshatra, Hasta nakshatra, and few padas of the Chitra nakshatra as well. The Uttara Falguni nakshatra is ruled by the sun. So when you have the Venus into the sign of Virgo, your Virgo is in any of these nakshatra. The Uttara Falguni nakshatra is the nakshatra of commitment, of the marital commitment. This is the latter part of the Purva Falguni, which is all about the commitment. So Uttara Falguni is about the commitment, and this is the commitment of the earth element Virgo sign. So it is kind of a good sign to have Venus in. But the only downside to Venus in Virgo is they might be pessimistic. They might feel unloved at times. So yes, this was Venus in the sign of Virgo. But this is not all. If this sign of Virgo, the Venus, is conjunct with the Mercury in the Virgo, this will change the interpretation drastically. If this sign of Virgo, the planet Venus, is aspected by Jupiter, this will change the whole scenario and all the interpretations. If this Venus is conjunct with the Rahu, then their practicality might change into the overindulgence as well. If this Venus is with Moon, it is going to change. If this Venus is with Saturn, is aspecting the Saturn, if there is an exchange, if there is a conjunction, if there is the lordship of the trinal houses, all these are going to change the scenario. All these things are going to change the final interpretation. What if this Venus is into the 12th house? What if this Venus is into the 10th house, 11th house? So all this is going to bring in the energy of the Taurus and Libra into that house. And that is the ultimate interpretation. So you have to consider so many things before you can even interpret about any of this combination. But more than that, you also have to look for the cancellation of the yoga, cancellation of the debilitation. You also have to look for the Nichbhanga Raj Yoga. If you are not aware of the Nichbhanga Raj Yoga, we have made a special video about the Nichbhanga Raj Yoga. You can go and watch that video as well. So yes, this was Venus debilitation into the sign of Virgo, as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. What to watch next? If you're new to Vedic astrology and to my channel, go to the YouTube page, go to the playlist page and start exploring the fascinating world of Vedic astrology. Go and check out the playlist, How to Get Started into Vedic Astrology, or Nichbhanga Raj Yoga, or Retrograde Planets and Effect of Retrograde Planet series. Or you can also start your journey with the Planets Through Houses series. You can go and watch the videos about the Sadesati or Rahu and Ketu, and you can start anywhere. Okay, so yes, and if you have any question, add me on Instagram at Pramanik Astrology. I read all the DMs and I try to reply to almost all the DMs. If you have any question, you can also add these into the comment section of the relevant YouTube videos. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.